What's up everybody, this is Furious Francis over here from PlayerEssence.com, and recently I watched a fantastic video by NinZendO on his channel about the anti-Nintendo conspiracy confirmed. And I had a chance to look over the article from John Lucas over on VGChartz, and I wanted to discuss this because this is a very serious topic, and I think it's a topic as a gamer, you know, put platform biases aside just for a second. As a gamer, this is not good news for anybody as far as this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and discuss this anti-Nintendo conspiracy that I completely believe in, and actually have been preaching for a while now and saying that third parties are easily trying to sabotage, you know, Nintendo. They tried to sabotage the Wii. They've been doing this, and this article from John Lucas and the video from NinZendO proves this. So I will also put a link to the article and to NinZendo's channel so you can watch his video on the subject as well as far as the anti-Nintendo conspiracy. So let's go ahead and get right into it. It wasn't until E3 2013 and the unveiling of Microsoft's Xbox One that it all came together for me. The Xbox One presentation sent a bolt of lightning through my mind, and now I knew why Nintendo did what they have been doing the past couple of years. The irresponsibility of Microsoft with those disastrous DRM policies signaled their inability of ever becoming the leader of this business, while underlying why Nintendo remains the leader. It showed the ultimate end if the third-party developers ever got full command of this business. Sony was getting nowhere with the PlayStation Vita, even though I liked their approach this time around. And it proved that they really don't have what it takes to challenge Nintendo in the handheld realm, much less challenge the onslaught of the smartphones. People hacked their PSPs to play Nintendo games on them, for God's sake. Sony and Microsoft's platforms were always third-party centric, since Sony and Microsoft are not necessarily game makers at heart. Nintendo platforms are always first-party centric, since Nintendo is a game maker at heart. We have been at the crossroads between the first/second party and the third party ever since the exodus to the PlayStation in the mid-1990s. Nintendo proved that they can go virtually alone and not just survive, but succeed beyond imagination. And that terrifies third-party developers. That's the real reason why they didn't get behind the Wii. Politics, not horsepower. So I'm going to stop right there and discuss things. This also kind of hit me too, because you saw no third-party developers from the big companies, no third-party publishers come out against Microsoft's policies when they announced the DRM. And you've seen many third-party figures in the industry, many people like John Carmack and like Peter Molyneux and other people come out and actually defend Microsoft's policies with the DRM. Third-party developers wanted this, third-party publishers want this, they think it's good, and you know what, Nintendo doesn't stand for those type of things, and Sony will actually allow you to do that on their system if you feel like it. So Nintendo's not allowing that. So this is where you can kind of see the shape up. Microsoft is just allowing, is just wants to give complete control to third-party developers. And this kind of signifies it. So let me go ahead and get into the next part of that. So why did third parties sabotage the Nintendo revolution? Because of one of my favorite sayings: first party plus second party plus third party equals Nintendo's party. If third parties ever got square behind Nintendo with support, they lose their political leverage in the business. Microsoft's and Sony's platforms are vehicles for their political leverage. And with the Xbox One, you got a taste of things to come should they run this industry outright. I'm going to stop right there. Once again, completely true on this point. NinZendO said it in his video, and I'm going to be saying it now. They don't want to give Nintendo power. Nintendo will not pay for exclusive DLC on Bethesda's Skyrim. Nintendo will not do those things. Nintendo will not do some of the exclusive DLC for Assassin's Creed. Nintendo's just not going to do those things. Now, some third-party developers understand if they can make $5 to $6 or $1 million on the Wii U, or if they can make money off the Wii, which many developers did, they put some of their stuff, but they never put their AAA teams on the Wii U. Every single third-party company that made games, sorry, I should have said the Wii. Every single third-party company that made games for the Wii put B and C teams on the Wii. The only people that actually put their top teams on the Wii were Nintendo, and were like, you know, second-party developers or people who partnered with Nintendo to make games. Those were the only people that did that. Many of the third-party games on Nintendo systems throughout the years, especially with the Wii, lacked content, lacked the depth that came to the games that came to the Xbox 360 and PS3. And you saw with the Wii U, many games were gimped, late ports that also came there because they don't want to put power behind the Wii U. They don't want to put the power behind Nintendo systems because Nintendo dominates the industry with their IPs, with their sales. I'm going to go ahead and read this last part here. Don't think third parties aren't aware of this. Don't think it doesn't horrify them. They're scared of Nintendo, absolutely in fear. The gaming press promotes Sony and Microsoft platforms out the wazoo while usually throwing a shade on anything Nintendo produces. They write up the hierarchies of platforms on the front page, often writing Nintendo last in the lineup. GameStop puts Nintendo merchandise to the back of the store in a smaller space, and it doesn't matter. Nintendo still sells. You always hear calls for Nintendo to get out of the hardware business, start making software for other consoles like Sega, to go handheld only, when they have absolutely no need with the resources they have. The third parties need to have this kind of noise to stand a chance. And this is where I'm going to stop. And basically, if you want to read the rest of the great article, make sure you head over to the description below and check that out there. Or you can watch NinZenDo's video. He will actually go into it a little bit more than I'm going to. And this is 100% true once again. People say Nintendo should go third party, yet there's no reason for them to go third party. It would be like for me to say, you know what, Bethesda should stop making games. And they should, you know, they should stop making games for the PS3 and Xbox 360. And they should just start making games for the iPhone. It'd be like me saying that. Or they should just start making games, I don't know, for the PS Vita. Or they should just start making games for the PC only. Why? Bethesda is extremely successful at making games on the PS3 and 360 and could be more successful if they made games on Nintendo systems too. Nintendo has these resources. Nintendo has been successful for a very long time. Why should they go third party? Because the Wii U isn't selling up enough at this point, 7 to 8 months in. So should Sony have went third party when the PlayStation 3 wasn't selling that great? Should Sony stop making handheld hardware because the PS Vita isn't selling that great right now? I don't understand why people think they should just go third party. And it was funny because this is backed up, this whole third party talk and them being terrified, this is backed up by what the Madden producer, I think Bob Somerville, something like that, said about Nintendo. He has a game that's currently a product that's currently on the Wii U that was gimped, that was not as good as the Xbox 360 and PS3 version. So he has a product that he has put out on the system, the Wii U, and he's saying nothing sells but Mario and Zelda. Nintendo should pull a Sega and go third party. And I'm thinking, why? They sold 100 million Wiis. They sold 150 million plus DSs. They're at 32 million 3DSs. What is the reason why Nintendo should go third party? They have over like $11 billion in cash or some crazy amount, some crazy war chest amount of money. Yet you're saying a Madden producer who puts out gimped products and expects them to sell, you're saying Nintendo should go third party. How about you make a better game and your product would sell? And we've heard this from lots of other people. We've heard this and it makes no sense. That's where the Nintendo conspiracy comes into play. Third-party developers want Nintendo to go third party. They want them to make games for the other consoles. They don't want Nintendo to be around. Nintendo's sales dominate the charts. And like this says, third parties are terrified at that. Look at the top selling games of all time. Dominated by Nintendo titles. Only the highest titles, only the biggest franchises in the industry can even scratch the surface of where Nintendo's put out their games, like NinZendO said on his video. And it's not really that close. Only Grand Theft Auto San Andreas can even scratch that. Gran Turismo and there can even scratch the surface. Other than that, it's Pokemon, it's Wii Fit, it's Wii Sports, it's Super Mario Bros, Super Mario 3. I mean, even if you look at the top 50, I mean, you have Galaxy, you have Smash Bros, you have all these games that are on one platform, outselling games that have multiple platforms on systems that have far larger install bases, like the PS2's install base. And Grand Theft Auto can't beat Wii Fit. PS2 had 150 million plus. Wii Fit, at the time Wii Fit was released, it didn't have anywhere near that. It didn't have anywhere near that, and look at how much it sold. So third parties, like he says in there, are terrified of it. And I understand that's the whole mantra with Nintendo. That's the whole thing. This isn't going to disappear. This is going to be around for a very long time, and that's why on my last Player Essence Cross Nintendo, I started highlighting the developers who are putting stuff on there, who have no platform bias, who have no stake in this. They don't hold the power in the industry. They're just looking to sell their game and, and facilitate it, to customers. Who are the strongest third parties in the business right now? The strongest third parties are guys like Bethesda, guys like EA, Activision is there, Ubisoft is there, and as you can see, all of them are either pulling support for the Wii U or just declaring that they don't want to put games out on the Wii U, So that's kind of how I see things right now. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to get any better, but what I do know that Nintendo is going to be successful no matter what product they have, because they're very passionate about their games. Nintendo's always been about gaming. And I think that whatever console that you like, you can look at what Nintendo's doing and say free online play, backwards compatibility, you know what I'm saying? Free Miiverse. They don't lock out functions of the system behind paywalls. Free app. You don't have to pay for apps and stuff like that. No matter what system you like, you can't sit here and say those are bad things. You can bash Nintendo all you want for their graphics on the 3DS and their graphics on the Wii U, but in the end, does it really matter if Nintendo's putting out products that people buy and enjoy? It doesn't really matter. And it's not anti-consumer. There's nothing about the Wii U or 3DS that's really anti-consumer, and the only thing maybe on the radar is region locking. But other than that, everything else is good on the system. So whatever way you like, whatever system that you go to, whatever platform that you like, it's not good that third parties are doing this to Nintendo, and it's not good for anybody. All it does is take money out of the gaming industry, and all it does is feeds to the ego of the gaming industry and could potentially cause another gaming crash. So hopefully third parties wise up, but I'm not counting on it. But I am counting on indie developers, and I am counting on Nintendo to do what they need to do to secure sales for the Wii U and secure that things are going to get better. So that's my take on there. Make sure you check out the description below to check out NinZenDo's video on this. He goes a little bit more in depth than I do. And make sure you read this article on VGChartz. It's a fantastic article. This guy is very intelligent who wrote this, and he has some other stuff regarding as far as what he said about the Wii compared to the Xbox 360 and PS3 as well, that he was very right on at the time that he wrote it. Okay, so that basically wraps it up. Make sure you check out playeressence.com. We have all of our greatest news up on the site right now, and all of the best news from the day on the site, so check it out when you get a chance. Also, give us a like on Facebook. That'll be in the description below. When you like us on Facebook, you get all of our content sent straight to your PC, phone, or tablet. All right, once again, I am Francis, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.